Hola, Assalamu alaikum, and Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. Well, before starting this video, I want you guys to know that it is for presentation purpose while we're all studying from home. My name is Saida Ikra, and I'm a student of applied psychology, and of course, I'll be discussing a topic of psychology in this video. So, Wamasaiyo, let's get to it. In this video, I'll be discussing Gestalt approaches of perception. But before moving on to the approaches, let's have a quick look on what is perception. Well, in these two pictures, there are two people having each having different opinion on the same thing. In simple words, that is what we can call perception, as everyone has their own unique perception and opinion depending upon their own genetics, point of views, and well, life experiences as well. We all have been forming our own unique thinking and how we perceive other things since the start of our life. But if we look at the definition of perception, it is a sensory experience of the world. It involves both recognizing environmental stimuli and actions in response to these stimuli. And also, perception includes five senses: touch, sight, sound, smell, and taste. And it also includes what is known as proprioception. It is another sense that are not included in the basic senses, but it provides us the ability to detect changes in the body positions and our movements, to detect the changes in our surroundings, you can say. It is a social sense, and well, perception also involves cognitive processes, our brain processing information about different things that we see, different things that we smell, etc. Moving on to the types of perception, well, the types of perception depends upon the types of senses. So there are five main types of perception: visual, tactile, auditory, gustatory, and olfactory. But some of other senses, as are included in our social senses, they also form a few type of perceptions known as social perceptions. That helps us to build our relationships, our interpersonal relationships, and how we contact or how we connect with people. Now, moving on to what is Gestalt psychology. It is the latest founded school of psychology in the 20th century that basically provides the modern study of perception. Well, Gestalt psychology or Gestalt theory emphasizes that the whole of anything is greater than its parts. That is, the attributes of the whole are not deducible from analysis of the parts in isolation. The earliest Gestalt work concerned perception with particular emphasis on visual perceptual organization as explained by the phenomena of illusion, and well, those phenomena of illusions we'll study as the Gestalt approaches in this video. Gestalt psychology attempts to understand psychological phenomena by viewing them as organized and structured wholes rather than the sum of the constituent parts. It's the same thing that we've said earlier. But the main study of Gestalt psychology and perception started in the 1930s and 1940s, and the main names you'd hear in these studies would be Max Weathermeer, Wolfgang Kohler, and Kurt Kofka, who founded these so-called Gestalt approaches to form the perception. And well, now looking for are the Gestalt approaches of perception. There are a few laws that we'll study. Law of proximity, similarity, symmetry, pregnance, closure, continuity, ground figure, and uniform connectedness. Basically, they're not exactly the laws, they're basically theories, but as we've been studying this for so many years, and there are no changes in them, so now they're considered as laws. Talking about law of proximity, it is basically a grouping law that emphasizes on the point that when we perceive a collection of objects, we will seek objects close to each other as forming a group. Now, if we see in the figure, there are same spheres, same colors of spheres, and they're all placed in three groups. We're perceiving it as three groups even if they are all in same shape and same color, but we are not considering them as a whole group or as a one group. We are considering them as three groups as there is a space between them. One example of this illustration of proximity concept is how we read the sentences. We group the letters of a given word together because there are no spaces between them, and we perceive words because there are spaces between each word. If there would be no spaces between the letters and words, we will not be able to understand what is the meaning of that sentence. So it is the main example of law of proximity. Now moving on to law of similarity, it is another example of grouping law. that explains or captures the idea that elements will be grouped perceptually if they're similar to each other. In these two figures, there are six rows present, but each and consecutive rows of each of them are of different things. As in the first figure, there is a white spheres, then black spheres, white spheres, and black spheres, and we're perceiving them as differently. Similarly, in the second picture, you can see there are rows of squares and spheres. We are perceiving both of those lines or rows differently to each other, as the shape is different. Now, according to the law of symmetry, it explains that the idea that when we perceive objects, we tend to perceive them as symmetrical shapes that form around their center. Most objects can be divided into two or more less symmetrical halves, and even, for example, we can see unconnected elements that are symmetrical. We unconsciously integrate them into the one coherent object. For example, in the first figure, you see the figure on the right side has the same shape on both sides, so we're considering it as the same thing. Except for the picture on the left side, the shape is different and we're not able to perceive it as the same thing. We'll consider them as different things. Then there is law of continuation that explains points that are connected by straight or curving lines are seen in a way that follows the smoothest path. We always look for the easy way to understand what we are looking at. So in these pictures, you can see we'll always look for the smoothest path forming between them instead of making it something complex. So rather than seeing separate lines and angles, lines are seen to be belonging together to each other. That is what is law of continuation. Law of Clojure. Well, you can see in these three images, they are not complete. The chunks of them are missing, but yet we are able to understand or perceive them correctly. That the first one is scissors, second one is an airplane, and the third one is a football. So, law of Clojure explains that even if the chunks of something are missing, we'll make them will understand the image by comparing it to the nearest object that is trying to form there. So, well, the law of Clojure in the Gestalt law that states that if there is a break in the object, we perceive the object as continuing in the smooth pattern. Now, there is law of ground figure. It is an interesting one. So, well, in these three images, you can see there are they are the same images basically, but a part of them are different. You can see some people would say that they saw two faces first, some people would say that they saw a mug first, and some people would say that they're seeing them consecutively to each other. So this is what we call as ground figure. One image is formed in the ground, one image is formed upon it as a figure, and we have to differentiate between them how we are perceiving them. It depends upon our own thinking that what image we see first. So the ground figure states that the ground, the paper on which the text sits, and the law of ground figure states that we can distinguish an object, the figure of the rule, from background, the ground. This rule shows that when we look at a design, we perceive the figure from the ground distinctly. Moving on to the law of pregnance. Well, law of pregnance basically a German term that is considered as good figure. The law of pregnance is sometimes referred to the law of good figure or the law of simplicity. Basically, according to this law, we always look for the simplest thing in a picture. Like there are two figures present in there and they're a bit complex. But what we are looking at, what we are perceiving from these images are in the first figure, there is a square, there is a triangle, and a sphere present. And similarly, in the second image, there are parts of spheres and parts of triangles present. Now, instead of making them a complicated object, we're perceiving it as the simplest form as we can perceive from it. So, this law holds that objects in the environment are seen in a way that makes them appear as simple as possible. Now, moving on to the law of uniform connectedness. It explains that elements that are connected to each other using colors, lines, frames, or other shapes are perceived as a single unit while compared with the other elements that are not linked in the same manners. Now, if we see in these figures, the images are the points that are connected to each other. We are perceiving them as the same image, and we are perceiving all the other elements of the picture as different. We differentiate between the points that are connected to each other and that are not connected to each other. At last, there is an example in which you can see almost all of the laws of Gestalt explaining in the form of its own name. Well, a G explains law of closure, E explains proximity, continuation is explained in S, T explains law of similarity, and ground and figure is explained in A and L. Well, this is it, and thank you for watching this video, and I hope you understood and liked this video. Allah Hafiz.